Hi guys, welcome to another Top Table Wargaming YouTube video. This is going to be a review video today, and we're going to be reviewing some very nice miniatures. It's a bit of a surprise, that's why I've got you in, James. Ooh. I think you're going to like this.
I like surprises.
Yeah, we're going to be reviewing Sons of Eorl on foot.
Oh my days! How exciting!
Very, very cool.
Well, for any of those guys out there who aren't aware, I'm a little bit of a Rohanite. I do love a bit of Rohan on the table, and particularly well known for my love of Sons of Eorl. Yes. I own 15 of these bad boys. 15. So these are Sons of Eorl on foot, and who are these from?
These are from these are his first releases, and it's a guy called Hammerin Miniatures. Really, really nice guy. He sent these for me to review free of charge, which hats off. So we're going to have a look at them. James is going to give us his bit of expertise, give you a bit of background on the model, and what you can use it for. Yeah,
because remember as well, you know, these aren't officially Sons of Eorl, these are not Games Workshop miniatures, but they do definitely have a likeness and would fit very, very well for our love of the system and the Hobbit strategy battle game as Sons of Eorl on foot, really.
Or use in Saga and such.
Yeah, I would probably use them in Saga as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah, let's get into it. So here we are.
Wow.
These are our Sons of Legend.
Is that what they're called?
Sons of Legend, yeah. AKA Sons of Eorl if you're an SPG player and you want to use them for this system.
Because that was always the issue, wasn't it, with so many profiles from strategy battle game, that there were a lot of profiles that weren't made, a lot of options that weren't made, such as Sons of Eorl came out.
That's correct.
Of course they're going to get dismounted, which is always my biggest heartache in battle reports using them. And you've got no miniature to really use for them without having to proxy. You have to proxy when it comes to Sons of Eorl on foot.
And I always found that quite strange, because your Sons of Eorl, your Corsair Reavers, they're the really cool profiles. They're the profiles where you want models for them, and they just never came about, which was very, very strange in my opinion.
Yes, certainly was. Now, something that I always, have ended up using, originally in the past I used to use just the basic Warriors of Rohan, and Sons of Eorl in the artwork in Kingdoms of Men painted with white cloaks. So originally I did have them with white cloaks, and therefore it was pretty easy to proxy and use just a Warrior of Rohan, as I'm showing here on camera now, and just paint the cloak white. But the issue with that is that I ended up using a reasonable amount of them, about a quarter of my force, and you kind of can lose that wonderful greens and reds that you associate with Rohan. So I actually changed that around a little bit. Now let's just do a quick comparison of the size.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad, is it? Probably slightly large, although this guy here is stooping.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
But I guess what you could then do as a further comparison is the fact that a lot of the old SPG minis, such the Gondor foot troops and Numenorians, they do tend to be smaller in scale than some of the new stuff.
Yeah, I personally don't think it's a problem. I think there's a massive scale, like you say, from the older stuff to the newer stuff, in talking about size-wise. So, you know, if it's a tiny bit out of scale, it's irrelevant because you've got it across the board most of the time. It doesn't really bother me that much. And I think putting something that may be slightly small or slightly large, if it's smaller, you can put it on a rock, you know, and it just hides that fact. So it's not going to be a problem, I don't think.
So I think what's probably a really good idea to do is actually show these guys in comparison to some of my babies, my Sons of Eorl. So I'm just going to bring into the screen now one of my Sons of Eorl that I painted up some time ago. Now, Sons of Eorl are very distinct in the shield. That's a big part of what you get with Sons of Eorl, and also the style of armour. So you can see under there that it almost looks like a padded armour now, like a scale plate almost that you've got. Now, I have seen paint schemes where I believe a good friend of ours, Ian Marley, he did his actually as leather, which I thought actually worked really, really well.
It does, I really like that.
Really like that, but you can see that they're typified by lots of chainmail, the fact that they're helmetless, that they've got a cloak, and that they also wield an axe, and that they do come on, of course, an armoured horse. So I always really liked this very distinct look. So I think what we should do is let's show where those similarities start. So let's bring up one of those shields, maybe. Let's bring a shield up, because you can see why these are a perfect proxy. Because they are still a proxy in some way. So you can see that the shield is different, but it's similar shape and similar idea, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, it's different for obvious reasons, because this is not a Son of Eorl, it's a Son of Legend. But the fact that the shield is quite similar is very, very handy. And it's just going to help you with the blend of bringing these into your force, I think.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that, and that's always going to be one of the key considerations, I have to say, when you're looking to put together a Son of Eorl proxy of any kind. So let's look at the main body. If we bring him into the centre of the picture. So again, as a key feature, straight away, there we go.
Yeah, I'll just get a better image.
There he is. So as the key image, the key factors straight away are: one, this is a helmetless miniature.
Yeah.
You have the chainmail detail, which is absolutely perfect, and then you've also got that same kind of padded upper torso area where you could go for the metal effect, or you might choose to go for that kind of leather, leather embossed armour, as it were. Got a reasonable amount of detail in these guys, I have to say. Always it's interesting when you paint a miniature. It can be very different to what you see when it's a bare metal miniature.
Yeah, I always find when you start putting your colours on, sometimes you notice things that you never even noticed on the model to begin with. And if you undercoat in black or dark brown, it can be quite hard to pick certain details out.
It can be. So that'd be a really interesting maybe future video, is to show the journey of painting these guys. And how they actually come together, because I certainly know that I wouldn't mind including them in either a Saga Force or at a non-GW event.
Likewise.
Maybe, exactly, using these in there. So let's do a comparison perhaps with a metal miniature, because this might be a little bit of a better comparison. So there you go, you can actually see that scale wise versus a metal character. Remember, this Captain of Rohan is slightly stooping and leaning across. But that is much more like it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see that they look like they could be on the same battlefield, which is what you want, really. Yeah.
Really, really nice. I think they fit in with the theme of the army very, very well. It's quite a, like you say, it's not, solely to be used for SPG. They can be used for multiple systems, and I'm like you, I'll be using mine for Saga and SPG, which is really handy. Which
I think is a really good idea. Now, another thing that I think is quite cool with these, how many poses have you been sent? 2?
There's 2 poses.
Yep. So just like the Sons of Eorl.
But the arms are detachable. They come separate, so you can put the arms in different positions just to sort of swap that out. Same as the Sons of Eorl.
Same as the Sons of Eorl here. So the Sons of Eorl themselves, these guys came with 2 poses. You had this pose, which was a more upright pose, as you can see there, and the horse was slightly more upright as well. And then you also had this guy, which had a more of a
charging pose.
Exactly. So the hair is a bit more swept back. As you can see, the horse is charging forward. But the way that I changed a lot of the pose of these guys was to adjust the position of the arms, do a lot of bending with that, and also little tricks with the horses themselves to show them perhaps rearing up. A good example of this one would be perhaps this guy here. So in turn, you can see that you could probably do exactly the same kind of thing when it comes to using these Sons of Legend as proxy Sons of Eorl.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do. There's one of the poses in particular, which is this one, where again, as well as moving the position of the axe arm, the actual shield bearing arm is it's not loose, but it's separate from the cloak. It's not part of the same mould. So depending how confident you are, you could actually manoeuvre that arm and change the position of the shield as well. So you can, there's a lot of scope for doing different things with it. But yeah, I really like them. I'm really happy with them, and I think I highly likely will get some more.
I think one of the great things about these guys as well is, I've ended up being one of probably the world's largest collectors of Rohan captains holding dead orc.
Yes.
I've ended up collecting because I thought that in the strategy battle gaming range, these guys were probably the closest thing to a Son of Eorl on foot. The armour isn't exactly the same, but what you do have is a helmetless pose, and you've got an axe wielding miniature that has a cloak. Now, one thing that I did, because I've moved away from using white cloaks, is that I had this extra little bit of detail with my limited paint skills, it has to be said, but just trying to do something which definitely ties over that these are the elite guys. But one of the problems of using all of these is that because they're such a distinct sculpt, that they're holding a dead orc, they're in a very particular position, is that if you've got 12 of these dismounted, Thranduil's chucked up his Nature's Wrath, and you've got all these guys, it does look pretty static and pretty boring.
It starts to look a bit samey on the battlefield.
It certainly does. And really, when you want a little bit of realism, you want to be able to use something which is giving you that ability to have different poses. So once again, I would love Games Workshop to bring out a Sons of Eorl on foot pose, or some kind of Northman that you could use in that sense. And in the meantime, when I go to their tournaments, I will be using obviously GW Miniatures, but I suggest for friendly games and for tournaments which allow it, using something like the Sons of Legend. And there are other options out there for various systems such as Saga,
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. It's, again, I think from me, it's a thumbs up for these guys. As a bit of a Rohan professional, should we say, professional player, what would you mark these out of 10?
Oh, that's very tough. I think that the hardest thing with them is what you need to put the paint on. I think I'm very happy with the scale of them.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like the fact that they have been conscious of GWIP and they've not copied the shields. I actually really like that because it brings something a little bit different. I've always been a huge fan of that kind of Norse, Anglo-Saxon kind of look anyway. So in terms of bringing them in for the likes of Saga, I think they would fit in really well with that. So I have to say, until put some paint on it, I would mark them very, very high. I'd mark them very high.
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to donate these to you, James.
What the hell?
Yeah, you can have these, my friend. You'll get more use out of them than I can, so get some paint on them.
Have you just thought that at the top of your head now, or was that planned?
I was going to give them anyway, mate.
Oh, look at that. I'm going to start welling up here. Oh,
so get
cheers
some,
for that, bro. Cheers, bro.
So get some paint on them, and we'll give them another review once they're painted. And
thank you so much. So, which is the company that?
Hammerin Miniatures.
Hammerin Miniatures. So definitely recommend that if you want to get yourself some.
These are his first releases.
Yep.
He's got more in the pipeline. Not just for Lord of the Rings. These are models that you can use across different systems, of course.
Because I think that I would use these for Saga in particular as well.
Yeah.
I think it's nice that because of the shape of the shield and the fact that, of course, they're helmetless, they've got capes, that they've got a particular style of armour, that they can work well for Sons of Anarchy on foot. But we must reiterate that these are not Lord of the Rings miniatures.
That's right.
They're not Lord of the Rings miniatures. You could use them for anything. So I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to getting some paint on them.
No problem.
So thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
Make sure you guys get involved in the conversation. What do you think about these minis? Make sure that you comment in the comment section below and like and share the videos to your buddies as always.
Yeah, and keep on gaming, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Adios.